current, electricity. The charged particles in motion constitute electric current. Charged particles in motion constitute electric current. Lightning is the natural source of unsteady current. Lightning is the natural source of unsteady current. This is due to this is due to large amount of potential difference between cloud layer and earth. By friction, between layers of cloud, electric charge is developed. Electric charge is developed. Hence, lightning is a spark. Lightning is a spark that moves to earth. The inverters, generators, cells, etc. provide as a steady source of electric current. Etc. provide for steady flow of current. The rate of flow of charged particles is defined as electric current. The rate of flow of charged particles is defined as electric current. Consider a surface held normal to direction of flow of charged particles. Suppose positive charge and negative charge Q plus and Q minus are moving from left to right. Consider a surface A held normal to the direction of flow of charged particles. Say Q plus positive charge and Q minus negative charge move from left to right. hence net charge Q, hence net charge Q is equal to Q plus minus Q minus. For steady flow, steady current or uniform current or average current, for uniform flow, steady current I is given as I is equal to net charge divided by time of flow. So here net charge is Q. So I is equal to Q by T, or total charge Q is equal to IT. In case of non-uniform flow, if delta Q, the amount of charge passing through a section in delta T time, for non-uniform flow, if delta Q, the amount of charge that passes through a surface normally in a time interval delta T, then instantaneous current I is equal to limit delta T tends to 0, delta Q by delta T. Or this is written as dQ by dt, or dQ is equal to, or Q is equal to integration dQ, it is integration of I dt, limit 0 to t. So for positive charge, current is positive, that is direction of flow of positive ions is defined as direction of electric current. So for positive charges, direction of electric current is along the flow of charge, and for electrons, direction of current is opposite, direction of electric current is opposite to flow, that is I is equal to minus Q by T. Direction of electric current is opposite the direction of flow of negative charge. That is, if there is a source with positive terminal, negative terminal, with some potential difference V, now connected to any conductor, then here in a solid conductor only electrons move this way from negative to positive. So if the flow of electrons is negative to positive, then direction of conventional current is from positive to negative. For example, if a source is connected to two terminals of a conductor AB, two terminals of a conductor AB, then electrons flow is from negative to positive terminal of the battery, negative to positive terminal of battery in external circuit, because for the battery this is internal and this is external, and negative positive terminal of the battery in external path or external circuit. So current flow, so direction of current is from A to B, the opposite flow of the electrons. Units of electric current. In SI, the unit is ampere, and 1 ampere is defined like if 1 coulomb of charge passes through a section in 1 second, then amount of current is said to be 1 ampere. In CGS electrostatic, it is defined as 1 start ampere, where a charge of 1 start coulomb passes through a section in 1 second. Similarly, in CGS electromagnetic unit, 1 EMU of charge, or sorry, 1 EMU of current is 1 EMU of charge divided by 1 second. Let us relate the three units. One ampere is equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. So this is 3 into 10 to the power 9 start coulomb divided by 1 second. So this is 3 into 10 to the power 9 start ampere. Also 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. This is 1 by 10 EMU of charge divided by 1 second. So this is 1 by 10 EMU of current. Electric current is a scalar quantity. Electric current is a scalar quantity which will be more clear while we discuss about Kirchhoff's law. Discuss about Kirchhoff's law. Relating an electrical circuit. An electrical circuit. Another term is defined in the manner as current density, which is assumed as a vector quantity. Current density vector. Current density J. It is defined as amount of charge. It is defined as the amount of current passing through a surface. Amount of current passing through a surface delta S when the area is held normal to direction of flow of current. Suppose an area delta S is placed like this, and this is direction of electric current. Suppose delta I is the amount of current passing through this surface, and the area is not normal to direction of electric current. Then if area vector n cap is like this, and theta the angle between direction of flow of current and area vector, then delta S cos theta is the normal area. If theta the angle between direction of current, direction of flow of current and area vector n cap, then delta S cos theta is the normal area. Or J is equal to delta I by delta S cos theta. Or delta I is equal to J dot n cap delta S. J is a vector quantity. But here current is a scalar quantity because dot product of two vectors is a scalar. J is a vector quantity and I is equal to integration of delta I, that is integration of j dot n cap delta s. So unit of j is current unit by area unit, that is you can say ampere per meter square or start ampere per square centimeter or like that. Unit of j is in SI. J in SI is ampere per meter square or square meter. Similarly, you can write in CGS. Now we'll discuss about Ohm's law. It states that whenever a potential difference is applied, there is flow of current in the conductor, and the current passing through is directly proportional to potential difference maintained across the two terminals of the conductor. It states that current through a conductor or medium let us speak about the conductor. Current through a conductor at constant temperature is directly proportional to the potential difference across the two terminals of the conductor. The conductor must be uniform. According to the law, I proportional to V or I is equal to V by R or R is equal to V by I. The constant of proportionality R is known as resistance of the conductor. Consider a conductor of length L and area A. If A, the area of cross section, and L, the length of the conductor, And if V the potential difference and I the current, electric current, then R is equal to V by I. Now if the conductor is doubled in length, if the conductor is doubled in length, then here potential is V, so here potential difference will be 2V. Then R1 is equal to, if the length of the conductor is doubled, then R1 is equal to 2V by I, that is 2R. So here we find that, so resistance is doubled when length doubled, that is resistance is directly proportional to length of the, that's resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor. Again, if the area is halved, then current will be halved. If the area is halved, then I will be halved, or R2 is equal to V by I by 2, that is 2V by I, so this is 2R. So here, smaller the area, more the resistance. That is, resistance is inverse proportional to area of cross section. From these two observations, it is observed that R is proportional to L by A, or R equals some constant rho L by A. Where rho, the resistivity or specific resistance of the material of the conductor. That is, if L is 1 unit, A is 1 square unit, then R is equal to rho. The specific resistance is the resistance offered by a conductor of unit length with unit cross-sectional area. Thus, specific resistance or resistivity of the material of a conductor, because it varies from one material to another, resistivity of the material of a conductor is the resistance offered by a conductor of unit length with 1 unit cross sectional area. Cross sectional area. The unit of resistance is ohm. The unit of resistance is since rho is equal to RA by L, hence unit of rho is ohm meter. According to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. It was stated by G.S. Ohm, in 1828. According to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. If a graph is drawn with potential along x-axis and current along y-axis, then the graph is a straight line. A graph of V versus I or I versus V is a straight line for certain conductors or the conductors which obey Ohm's law, are said to be ohmic, and others who do not obey Ohm's law are said to be non-ohmic, where I versus V graph is not a straight line, are said to be non-ohmic. Is not a straight line, are said to be non-ohmic. Consider a conductor of length L. V is the potential difference. Since V is equal to IR and if L the length of a conductor, and E the electric field, then V is equal to EL. So here you can write EL is equal to I, R equal to rho L by A, or E is equal to rho I by A. Again, current per unit area is defined as current density vector J, or E is equal to rho J, or J is equal to E by rho that is E sigma. Thus current density vector is since J is I by A current density vector, and sigma is specific conductance or conductivity of a material of a conductor. And sigma is 1 by rho. So this is relation between electric field intensity and current density vector. J is E sigma, or sigma is equal to J by E. We can write also like this. Now unit of sigma is 1 by ohm meter or ohm inverse, meter inverse, that is mho meter inverse. Dimension of resistance R is V by I. Potential difference is amount of work done by charge. So this is W by Q. This is I. Again Q is equal to IT. W is the energy unit. So it is M1 L2 T minus 2. This charge is IT. That is I square into T. So for current we take as A, hence it is S square T. Or this is M1 L2 T minus 3 A minus 2. Similarly, we can find out the dimension of rho or sigma. Now we'll discuss about temperature dependence of resistance. The resistance of a conductor does not remain constant when there is variation of temperature. In case of solid conductors or metallic conductors, a temperature increases. The collision between particles or electrons with the nearby atoms increases, thereby resistance decreases. But in case of semiconductors or insulators, due to temperature there is vibration or there is jumping of the electrons to the conduction level increases. So in that case resistance decreases. So you can say that if RT and R0, the resistance of a conductor at T degree centigrade and 0 degree, then the increase in or change in resistance RT minus R0 is directly proportional to resistance at 0 degree, and it also depends upon the rise in temperature. In combining the two equations, it is found that RT minus R0 is proportional to R0 into T minus 0. Or RT minus R0 is some constant alpha R0 T, or RT is equal to R0 into 1 plus alpha T. The proportionally constant alpha is known as temperature coefficient of resistance. The proportionality constant alpha is known as temperature coefficient of resistance. The alpha is equal to RT minus R0 by R0 into T. So if this is 1 unit, this is 1 degree rise, then what is the change? That is the alpha. If R0 is 1 unit and T is 1 degree centigrade, then alpha is RT minus R0. Thus, temperature coefficient of resistance is the change in resistance per unit resistance at 0 degree per degree rise in temperature. So it can be written in a different manner. That is, RT is rho T L by A and R0 is rho 0 L by A. Then substituting it is reduced to rho T is rho 0 into 1 plus alpha T. In the reverse way, we can write sigma T is 1 by rho T. So this will be 1 by rho 0 into 1 plus alpha T, which you can write sigma 0 into 1 plus alpha T 2 power minus 1. And since alpha is a very, very small quantity, alpha is very, very small, is a very, very or much less than 1. Therefore, taking the binomial expansion, since alpha is much less than 1, then taking binomial expansion and neglecting higher terms, we can write as 1 minus alpha T. Hence, sigma T is equal to sigma 0 into 1 minus alpha T.